Saturday, the 10th of August here in Australia. It's Friday, the 9th of August back in America. I'm so glad to be with you all. I'm back from traveling. Yeah, and ready to start again. Now, not everybody got the word because I notified our tireless coordinators a little bit late that I was going to start again. So the message, the notification went out kind of early, kind of late. And so we'll see. And as a result, what I'm going to do today is a review Master Empty Cloud's arrival at the end of his pilgrimage to Wu Taishan. We're going to be talking about that. So let's get started. 各位欢迎参加我们絮闹和尚画传就是讲座系列哈we have a Chinese language translator, so you don't have to tire your ears with my broken Mandarin. And if you'd like to listen to Chinese, 如果各位呢想听到中文，我们有办法。那个你的软体的控制板的右下角有一个 interpretation，那边你就可以找到 Chinese 就好了，那可以听到流利的中文。Also, should anybody like to hear a Vietnamese translation, go to the chat box and you'll find a link which will take you to the Vietnamese translation that is happening right now. All righty. Let's see here. Here we go. I'll make this big full screen. Here's our Dharma request. And I'm going to welcome Cliff. Let's see here. Okay, maybe the Vietnamese translation isn't quite ready. So Cliff is going to request Dharma, and I will give him the right page and ask Cliff, please, if you'd like to request Dharma, go ahead and start right now.
恭敬大德，为此法会及一切众生，请转妙法轮教导我们如何了生脱死。离苦得乐，速证无生。为了三个 we great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma will to teach us how to live suffering and attain bliss and end person death, and quickly realize number.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye olahadi samyao samputoshe.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samyao samputoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. All righty. Thank you for the Dharma request. I accept, be happy to lecture. We would like to respectfully acknowledge the Kumbumeri people of the Ugambi language region as traditional storytellers and custodians of the land where our monastery is located. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 我们恭敬地承认有关北语族的贡布马里人是我们寺院所在地的传统叙事和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向所有从来没有放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。I was really happy to arrive on Virgin Australia Airlines to Sydney to do the forum, the Buddhist forum last week. We flew from the Gold Coast down to Sydney. And as the airplane was approaching the Sydney airport, the flight attendant on the airplane, Virgin United, said, we'd like, on behalf of um, the Gadigal people, we would like to welcome you to country. We pay our respects to their elders and the traditional storytellers and custodians of the land. We pay respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. As the plane was landing, they said that. And I thought, that's the way it was originally. We do it here with meetings, assuming there's, people coming who are from outside. But when we're actually traveling from afar into a new territory, that's when the welcome, the acknowledgement happens. So there they in the airplane, on board the airplane, the 130 people on the plane with me got acknowledged country, and it was very, very nice. I saw that's starting to work when the country can incorporate that kind of gracefulness and respect. That's a good thing. Okay, I have a new bell for the bell song. You ready? This bell, when you ring it once, it just keeps ringing. This is a wonderful bell. And there's my bell ringer. Okay, here we go. That wasn't loud enough. Let's try again. Here we go. The bell sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. Listen to this bell go. It's still ringing. Still ringing. Oh, wonderful bell. Okay, there we go. And that concludes our prelude, preparation, the ritual for the sutra lecture. Okay, here we go. Oh, you can't hear the bell sound. Okay. Let's see here. Original sound. That's why. Oh, too bad. Let's try it one more time. You got to hear this bell. Ready? Here we go. Still ringing. Still ringing. What a nice bell. Okay, that should work. 可以听到。好的。Good. Yeah, it is indeed. Okay, so welcome to our virtual country here. Our host is in Fremont. Our co-host is in Ukiah. Our co-host is and the interpreter is in the Gold Coast. Here. Let's see here. Then we have Bill up in Cascade. I don't know how the summer is treating the Rockies this year. Hope you're avoiding forest fires. And Brian is here telling stories. I got recordings of Brian's The Lion's Whisker And was it Ripples? What was the other one? It's lovely, recorded recently. Celeste is here from Hong Kong. Connie is here. Corin is here. Duke LeBen, Montreal. It was nice to meet him. And CTDB. Lane is here from Round Rock. Ethan from Round Rock. Lane and Ethan together. Welcome. Then we have friends from Guangdong. Mr. Hong. Jane is here. Up in Ukiah. Jason is from Northern California. All these friends who gathered at City of 10,000 Buddhas. Jensen from Jakarta. Jerry is here. Jin Yong Shi, welcome. Glad you're. Don't know if you're back in the U.S. or in Taiwan. We'll find out this weekend. Johan is here from Malaysia. Gali Fang. Lin Lao Loy is here from Singapore. Faithful disciple. Mai is in L.A. now. Another Mai is in San Jose. Wan Long is in Mesa, Arizona. Okay, Redmi, Ron, Shirley, Susan, Sylvia, Tanyo Kai, Singapore, Tran Lee, Tran Win, Vera, hi Vera, long time no here. Willie from Virginia, YC is with us. Okay, Dong Yu Ching is in Vancouver, Jun is in Santa Barbara. We switch over to the other side of the planet. 就说有佛有从 let's see 山西就说阳泉市欢迎杭州、江苏盐城、深圳、北京、哈尔滨、西安、黑龙江山东济南浙江蓝海黑龙江鸡西还有谁哪里福建泉州、安徽淮南市、黑龙江、哈尔滨还有let's see here 深圳，还有河北唐山、北京、江苏镇江镇江是啊，北京、浙江、南京、辽宁、广东、上海、黑龙江、湖北、洛阳 and 上海。哇，台湾今天没有人了哈。哇，你说 Okay, welcome everybody. How do you like my desktop? What do you think? Isn't that nice? That is, can everybody tell me where this is? What is that pagoda? And where is it located? This is the actual historical hallmark of this big Buddhist community. Let's see, who guessed right? That is Wutaishan, correct. 就是Wutaishan了 Yeah, 这个宝塔 Wow. I've seen it. I saw it in 1989. Yeah. We didn't have these, down here in the bottom of the picture, you can see the SUVs and the RVs, all of the modern cars that are parked outside these temples. Back in 89, was not the case. It was distinctly poorer then than it is now. Japanese disciples have really put a lot of effort into building up resorts for Japanese Buddhist pilgrims who love the Huayan Zong and the Shensho Zong and the Huayan Jing, etc., and all the different kinds of Buddhism practiced at Wutaishan. So it's been a lot of people have invested a lot of strength into Five Peaks Mountain, which is the home spiritually to Manjushri, Bodhisattva of great wisdom. And when you are there in Wutaishan, you really feel the presence of what is called collectively Lama Jiao, which is sort of semi-Tibetan, quasi-Tibetan Buddhism. It's not Han Chuan Fo Jiao, but it's related. It's not Chinese Mahayana, but it is. It's Lama Jiao. And is it Mi Zong? Partly. So, yeah, to say it is Tibetan Buddhism, that's not exactly right. It's more folk religion than it is purely Tibetan Mahayana. So, I was very aware at Wutaishan how far away from Shanghai and from Putian and Guangdong is Wutaishan. It's way out west. and probably the environment, the natural, the mountains, the severity, is that the word, of the weather. The weather there is harsh, and to survive at Wutaishan, you've got to have thick skin. You have to be able to endure bitterness to thrive at Wutaishan. And of course, from Master Hua and Master Hua's teaching, and from my interest, Wutaishan is the traditional home of the Huayan patriarch, Master Chengguan Qingliang Guoshi. He lived and taught and wrote and took disciples at Wutaishan. So anybody who makes use of the Huayan Suchao, the Avatamsaka exegesis, knows that that was written there at Wutaishan. So big deal for us, that monastery. And Master Empty Cloud made it the end of his pilgrimage. Now, because there's a number, this announcement for today's lecture went out late, so I'm going to review. We've got a natural break, which is Master Empty Cloud arrived at the end of his pilgrimage, Wutaishan, and there were, of the 200 episodes of this picture biography, 30 plus, I think it was 34 of them, 33 of them, were dedicated to the pilgrimage. So a large percentage of his life was focused on his 3 steps, 1 bow pilgrimage to Wutaishan and the vows that guided that pilgrimage. So he's arrived, and he meets this elder, and you can see him, the elder's picture here in the center. He's maybe wearing a Taoist hat, and maybe he's a Buddhist. And he's got a very old pine tree beside him, and he's sitting at a stone table across from our hero. And he's telling him, what's he telling him? He's telling him, if anybody wants to read together with me, 逢人举问，问计诸居何处？竟无人知其为何须人也。后遇一老僧，损之以不知，告以往事，往事清醒。老僧曰：“须大德所云，此闻机者，即文殊菩萨化身也。公闻之，如梦方醒，乃即乘离谢菩萨。” The master asked all those whom he met where Wenji lived, but no one even knew him. The master later on met an elder bhikshu who said, according to what the Venerable Master has told me, this Wenji must be a transformed body of Manjushri Bodhisattva. At that, the master felt as if he'd suddenly awakened from a dream. Oh. On the spot, he bowed to the Bodhisattva with sincere gratitude. So, oh man. We said when we first covered this particular episode, it seems it's so obvious to everybody else that that's not just a beggar. It's a transformed body. His name, his behavior, the fact that he saved your life twice. And Master Empty Cloud, what do they say? 当居者迷，旁观者清. Now, I don't want to say that Master Empty Cloud was me. They say that the person right in front of your eyes, you're confused, but the bystanders are very clear. Now, was he confused? Manjushri Bodhisattva determines who recognizes him and who doesn't. If he doesn't want Master Empty Cloud to wake up, he's going to do all of his work of saving him, but just not let on. So it's very possible that Master Empty Cloud was just didn't make the connection. So in any case, now he knows. 文殊化身即文姬，相处3月竟不是。若非今日老僧指，几乎教必失。A transformed body of Manjushri that was beggar Wenji. Together for 3 full months, yet the master failed to recognize him. unaware until the elder bhikshu pointed it out to him. He had been right next to Manjushri himself. Okay, now there's this tradition in Wutashan about Manjushri's appearing. He appears to sincere cultivators. Other times he appears to save people from danger. Other times he appears to scold people, to teach them when the time is right. And those stories have been collected. The Wen Shu Da Shi Ying Ling Lu, the collected miraculous responses from Manjushri, the great hero. So in those Ying Ling Lu, the stories, there's lots of accounts of Manjushri just popping up in a variety of situations, sometimes to praise, sometimes to scold, sometimes to rescue. So in this case, well, and in all of those stories, the person who is being rescued or taught or scolded doesn't know until too late. Oh, that was Manjushri. Oh my goodness. Okay, moving on. We covered this before, but I think it's worth pointing out again. What did, when you have been bowing for 3 years, putting your body slowly to the ground, over and over, slow ritual yoga and traveling at the same time, living outdoors, breathing the clean air, not talking to anybody unless you meet a rare farmer or merchant walking by. What do you do when you stop all that motion? When your goal intellectually, you've reached the end. You're there. You've done it. There's a sense of completion. What do you do? Well, what Master Empty Cloud did was meditate. He sat for 7 days, and did he sit still for 7 days? Could be. It could mean that he only stood up to relieve nature or to go to sleep at night, but otherwise he was sitting in full lotus. Could be. It's not, doesn't specify. But let's take a look. Let's see what, and think about it. If you were the hero doing the pilgrimage, and you could say you cross the finish line, what's next? What do you do next? 22日起香，拜2日至东台顶，月明星辉，入师室中上香，照悉礼诵，禅坐7日。在东台拜时，觉得身心舒畅，仁慈之心勃发，刚毅之气意故，得为曾有，峻律相应，妙展明彻，无法本源。On the 22nd, the master started bowing again, and in 2 days reached the summit of Eastern Peak. The moon was bright, the stars twinkled. He entered the room within the stone to offer incense, to bow and recite sutras and mantras, then sat down to meditate for 7 days. While bowing on the Eastern Peak, the master felt joyous and relaxed in body and mind. He had suddenly developed a compassionate and patient mind, and his resolve, which was already firm, became even more resolute. He gained an unprecedented response from his Chan practice. He'd awakened to the original source that is miraculously still, bright, and subtle. So this passage does everything except say that he was now enlightened, that he had Ming Xin Jian Xing, seen his mind, lit up his mind, seen his nature. It doesn't say that, but it says, it changes the vocabulary to show the state. And interestingly, it says that while he was bowing, he already had a spiritual response. So the as I introduced this idea, I wanted to describe, kind of let everybody understand the difference now from even a day away from Wutaishan. What? The difference between finishing and not yet. The difference between success and almost. He is now finished. His pilgrimage was successful just in terms of the physical details. And what a difference that makes to the mind. As a result, he is carefree. The language it uses, he felt joyous and relaxed in body and mind. Yeah. When was the last time you felt joyous and relaxed in body and mind? I hope it was recently. Pretty good state of being as a result of all of that slow yoga movement, bowing to the ground, to the Buddha. And notice, it says even more specifically, now he has a compassionate and patient mind, and a resolve which was firm was even firmer, stronger, more resolute. So this is as close as the language can get to saying his mind was a Buddha. You know, he and the Buddha were one. It's not saying that because it didn't happen, but pretty wonderful state of samadhi, right? He got an unprecedented response from his Chan practice. 德为曾有, 经律相应. So, yeah, he had awakened to the original source that is still bright and subtle. 妙瞻明彻, 悟发本源. That's, yeah, when the biography reports that kind of state, your false thinking is very small, very, very little at this point. His ignorance and afflictions are nearly transformed at this point. And I think it's really interesting what Shifu's choice of verses here. 东方阿去不金刚，青龙古佛大道场，要插将军石河户，孝在延寿增异象吉祥。Off to the east is the Vajra division of Akshobhya Tathagata, where resides the ancient blue dragon Buddha's awe-inspiring Bodhimanda. The Yaksa generals of the East fearlessly protect it, while Medicine Master, who dispels calamities and lengthens life, makes all things lucky. Okay, Medicine Buddha. Eastern Peak. I think it's the cue is that this is the East. So in the, there's this tradition of Wu Fangfo, the five Buddhas of the five directions, with Amitabha in the center. And the East is Medicine Buddha. So he's bowing to the eastern peak of Wutai. Okay. Followed by 下台拜那罗延窟，所带果粮已尽。6月初1回咸通寺，初2起香拜华严岭，过夜。初3拜北台，在中台过夜。初4拜西台过夜。初5回咸通寺。初7拜南台，在南台打七，功夫更觉相应。The master came down the mountain, paid respects at Narayana Cave. It was the first day of the lunar 6th month, the 6th lunar month. The provisions he had been carrying were now gone. He's out of food. He went to Shentong Monastery, which is a Shifang Sunlin, welcoming monks of all directions if you're qualified, bhikshu. And then on to the second, he began to bow again, going to Avatamska Mountain, where he spent the night. On the third, he bowed up to the northern peak and spent the evening at the central peak. On the fourth, he bowed from there to the western peak, and there he spent the night. He returned to Shentong Monastery on the fifth, and on the seventh, he bowed from there to the southern peak. There, he sat again to meditate for 7 days. His efforts once again evoked a response. So here's the pilgrim going to each of the four different peaks. In the center is the white pagoda on my desktop, the white stupa, that is. So we're getting a tour of Wutaishan and the famous, talk about a sacred space, a pilgrimage site. That's Wutaishan. From the earliest, from the 1st century. This has been a sacred, magical, spiritual place where people have been getting connections to the noumenal. They get connections to the world of the spirit. 正觉时间. People have been breaking through here at Wutaishan since the time of Jesus of Nazareth. So that 1st century of the Han, the Western calendar is 公元100, right? In that 1st century, for the hundreds on the calendar, people have been meeting Manjushri. They've been discovering their minds. They've been inspired to cultivate here at Wutaishan since then, so 2,000 years. And Master Empty Cloud being a Kuxing, a monk who is a role model for how to cultivate the way. 怎么样修行? He shows us. They call him the North Star of the Chan school. 禅宗的北斗, 禅宗的泰斗, they call him. So here he is. So when he shows up, things that were just talked about or kind of legend, hinted about in legends actually happen. Like the Buddha's shadow on the cliff for Master, in the cave for Master Xuanzang, the same kind of thing. Master Empty Cloud shows up and all these miraculous events transpire because of his cultivation, because he's got virtue. He really has it. He's got the light inside. So he goes to Avatamsaka Mountain. Shentong, and he's hungry. Shentong Si is a place where if you have a jiedia, if you've got proof that you're an ordained monk, you can stay there. You have to, you call yun shui, clouds and water monks, and you guadan, you hang up your, you get a hook and you can hang up your bag, your baggage, your monk's bag. You can take off your shoes and you know, get fed, find a place to sleep that's clean. And if you're famous, they'll give you a job to do and you can connect to the community. So he's doing all that, Shentong Monastery. And he's using that as the hub while he goes out to the various mountains to bow. So Huayan Si, Huayan Shan, Qingliang Shan, he spent the night there. And then he bowed from there to the northern peak, then to the central peak, and to the western peak, and he spent the night. There's a custom. I should get my bag out. Yeah. There's a custom at the Sidamingshan in China that if you make a successful pilgrimage to Putoshan, Jiuhuashan, Umeishan, Wutaishan, I don't know about the Taoist mountains, Huangshan and Yushan, but to the 4 Buddhist holy mountains, when you go there, you take your monk's bag, the cloth bag that you put your robes in, and they stamp it with a yin, a gai, a bao yin, or a tuzhang, with red ink. And it's, of course, it's permanent. and it's a sign. You don't get that stamp without having put your footprints on the path all the way up and back. So he's getting the stamps on his bag. He's definitely been there. Came back to Shantung Si, and then bowed to the West Southern Peak. And then what did he do? Look at this. Chan monk. He meditated for another week. And he got a response. So let's see. 除七拜南台，在南台打七功夫更觉相应. So on the southern peak, sat there at a monastery for a week, and there was special magical things, spiritual things that happened. Okay. When was the last time you just sat still for 7 days? I ask myself that question. It's like, this is a real cultivator, you know. He's using the Dharma and getting responses from it. Here at Wutaishan. Wowie. And Shifu's poem, 南方佛陀不保圣，保生，中央佛部遮那尊，西方弥陀莲花主，北方揭摩法王身. The southern quarter is the division of the Buddha born of jewels. The center division's Buddha is Vairochana. In the west is the Buddha Amitabha, who rules the lotus division. And then Buddha Success in the north rules as Dharma king. Oh, you're hearing a Kurawang off microphone here, letting me know that something's up. Okay, he must have gotten his needs met. Okay. Oh, there it is again. So what do you do when you go to Wutaishan is you bow if you are a cultivator. And then, so this is Gu, let's see, Gu Wutaiba. Yeah. He's got incense, he's bowing. There are the lay people with incense around him. Here's a monk's bag. This is where you get the stamp put on your bag at the various places you've been. So it's kind of like a passport, a pilgrim's passport, that bag, or wherever they stamp the red ink on your bag. Mine is at Berkeley in a suitcase with my old sashes that have worn through, my red sashes that have worn through. So age 45, this is the 10th year of the Guangxu reign, and Master Empty Cloud is getting his money's worth from his pilgrimage, I guess. Yeah, he's really going to every mountain, and everywhere he goes, the Dharma magically just responds. And there's no Wizard of Oz pulling the levers behind the curtain. This is just the way it's been taught since time began, since they were recorded, that if you use your body, your mind, your nature correctly, the Tao and the Dharma respond. It's really, really true and there. Most people either don't believe it, or they believe it but they don't do it, or they believe it and they do it but not long enough to actually get it to work. They're still kind of doing a transaction with their mind. So the self is still there. Master Empty Cloud doing it without a thought, sitting for 7 days. Yeah, and sure enough, 再寻四台遍拜. Okay. Amazing. Okay, we're going to do one more. 五台山大佛会, the great Buddha gathering at Wutai Mountain. 15回寺, 参加6月大佛会，致仕为朝生父母。3年远避，处疾病风雨困阻外，一心正念，礼拜历尽艰难，每戒信愿心，欲苦欲安，物古人云：消一分习气，得一分光明。忍10分烦恼，正不提。On the 15th of the month, that's the lunar 6th month, June, he returned to the monastery to take part in a gathering. His vow to cross over his parents, which took 3 years to complete, had now been fulfilled. He was single-minded through the difficulties of illness, wind, and rain. He bowed and just endured the hardships until they ended. Every encounter tested his resolve. The more challenging the test, the more serene he grew. Thus he came to embody the ancient saying, one part of bad habits purged is one share of light gained. When you endure all afflictions and vexations, you can realize Bodhi. So look at this fascinating image here. The Buddha's in the hall, the monks are all kneeling, lots of incense, the lay people are outside making offerings to get blessings. Chinese temple architecture. This is Xiantong Si, that's where he came back, which is interestingly built of bricks, not of wood. Xiantong Si is a big central monastery. It's a Shifangsonin, a public monastery, so anybody can come, as I've said. And they're doing a big Dharma assembly there, lots and lots of people. And Master Empty Cloud stands in line with the Sangha. And his goal to repay his mother's kindness, she passed away and is giving birth to him, repay his father's kindness, and knowing that he was a major disappointment to his dad because he became a monk. His father died and sad. So he's now using his own effort, his own spiritual cultivation to repay the spirits inside the bodies of his mother and father. That relationship lasts. And he's now using this remarkable coin of virtue to repay. One part of bad habits purged, one share of light gained. If you can wait out afflictions and vexations, Bodhi is there waiting for you. 消一分习一分，消一分习一分明，人10分，脑正10分，此中体验真消息，端倪在我，不在人。Share of bad habits gone yields a share of light. 10 parts of trouble endured completes your realization. To experience the truth of the old sayings, here's the clue. Really go and do it, as Master Empty Cloud did. Okay. Take a look here. Look what we've got. Here is the shaman, Wu Taishan, traveling in. 不灵有神, okay. Yeah, it's in a mountain valley. Oh, look at this pilo. I mean, that's ornate, huh? Spectacular. This is sunset or sunrise, old roofline temples. Yeah. There you are. Somehow, when you see this old architecture, it's just it really speaks to some place in me. Here's a 3-story building, rare. But you can see how Wutaishan is a valley with the Zhongtai, the center. Here's the stupa in the back. The center is one of the peaks, and then there are 4 larger peaks on all sides, north, south, east, west. Here's, you can see the people here taking pictures up this long, long staircase. The red wall protecting. Yeah. This is Maha Manjushri Hall. Notice the roof line. These steles, how old are those? Okay, I like this one a lot. Winter at Wutaishan. I know there are people who run these stairs every day. There are monks who bow these stairs every single day, up and down, just as a test of their cultivation. This much snow probably fell in one night, so they sweep it off, keep on bowing and running. These roof tiles are obviously new. They've been replaced. Here are the magical animals on the top. Ling Chu on the roof line. Liu Li Wa. Flowers growing here. Da Xiong Bao Dian, the Hall of Great Heroes. This last one. Notice that's why Wutaishan is considered one of the most perfect examples of Chinese Buddhist temple architecture. These eaves, layer upon layer. What did the monks look like back in the day? That they have halos indicates that these are arhats or sages. Some are blue, some are dark brown. Okay, the splendid scenery of Magic Peak. Yeah. The air is clean. The wind blows cold. When it's windy coming down in through the winter, oh, this cold goes right to the bone marrow. Isn't that lovely? Okay. These photos were taken 20 years ago. I'm sorry, 14 years ago. This, I believe, is Huayansi because of the elephants up front. This is I borrowed this from my desktop. I will put these, let's see here. I'll add this to our, see here. Put this into the chat box. When we're done, I'll add this to the chat box so you can go look at these yourselves. I'm at a United Nations UNESCO site showing you these photos. Here is an ancient monastery. This is Lohantang, the Arhat Hall. Yes. Here's somebody cleaning out the sensor. Is it cold there? Look at the bhikshu. What is he wearing? Ah, it's cold. Look at the zhuangyan, the adornments. My goodness. A few more here. Yep. You can see the peaks, mostly barren of trees. This is the same monk who was cleaning in the you're looking at the other side of the courtyard. Wow. 佛光普照, the Buddha's light shines everywhere. Mm-hmm. This is a Pailo Jinge Fu Kuang. The golden pavilion floats in the air. Yep. 5 Peaks Mountain, Wu Tai Shan. Oh my goodness. So this is Chinese Buddhism, Hanchuan Fojiao, inspired by the Buddha himself, and the faith develops into structures like this. Wow, just splendid. Let's see, Da Bei Yan. This is a great compassion hall. Okay, there we are. So we've got Master Empty Cloud has reached the end of his pilgrimage, and yet he's still cultivating. But now he's cultivating stillness in the midst of movement. He's been moving steadily across the face of China. And the motive, notice that it's really important, I think, to pay attention to why he did this. And the answer is filiality and a wish to repay kindness. 知恩报恩. He was given his life by his mother, and then she died. He took her life to come into the world. And this is someone who has really seen, he's seen through fame and glory and wealth and honor. None of those things attract him. And yet he knows that his mother's passing indicates he's got a debt to repay. So at age 42, at a time when most men would be attempting to secure their legacy, their power, their strength, their wealth, none of those things. He gave all of that up so that he could address that relationship with his mother. And I think he says that he recognizes that he also had he was a source of suffering for his father. So he wanted to find a way to make that okay as well. So his answer was to bow to the ground for 3 years. And that's something that very few people want to do, or they don't want to do it outdoors in the bitter weather. But he figured that's how he's going to repay. So success. what did it take to succeed? Well, he died twice, and he was rescued from death by a bodhisattva who, in disguise, who wanted to come and help him accomplish his vow. So how, that's the stuff of legend, isn't it? That's just amazing stories. And that's his willingness to endure what he endured is what gives us, that's what we remember and spend an hour every week retelling these encounters, these incredible narratives, right? Inspiring. Yeah. Okay, time to transfer merit. Now, I'm going to be back with the entering the Dhammaram chapter of the Avatamsaka tomorrow. Following that, I will be lecturing on the Sunday night talk from City of 10,000 Buddhas, the Avatamsaka Sutra. So this, my particular series of lectures will be back in regular rotation. I've been to Sydney, the Buddhist Forum is done. Tomorrow, during the Avatamsaka lecture, I'm going to show some photos and kind of recap the things that I've been through, including I haven't had a chance to tell all of you about the events at City of 10,000 Buddhas, all of the precepts and the 42 hands and everything that we enjoyed, including Buddha Root Farm. So I'll be talking about that tomorrow and the next day as well. Okay, hope all of you are well. Delighted that you could join me today. Can we dedicate merit together? Like Master M.T. Cloud, you can dedicate merit to repay kindness, or however you'd care to. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. We can bow to the Buddhas, if you care to join me. Okay, first bow. And second bow. Third bow. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. First bow. And second bow. And third bow. Okay, that'll do it for us for today. See you all next week or tomorrow if you want to tune into the Sutra lecture, the Avatamsaka. All righty. Amitofo. Please be well. Bye, everybody.